Okay, well, hello everybody. My name is Darcy Drachenberg and I work at Korea University's Office of International Affairs. It's my pleasure to be here. I always enjoy coming to Japan on a business trip. It's very quick, only about an hour and a half, and everything is so nicely organized, and it's no different here at Kyoto University, so I'd like to say thank you to the organizers as well. Our topic today is the internationalization of domestic students. So my presentation is on the area of what we call fostering global leaders. Korea University's internationalization strategy has two goals. One of the goals is fostering global leaders, and the other is making the institution one of the top research-intensive universities in the world within the rankings of the top 100. So we'll focus today on fostering global leaders. How many people here have been to Korea University? Maybe 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. But I guess the rest of you might not know too much about KU. It's another KU, not Kyoto University, but Korea University. So I'll just quickly give you an introduction. Korea University was founded in 1905 by the treasurer of the royal household under the Chosun dynasty. And it was originally founded as Bosong College, which was a college of business administration and law. We eventually were given 187 acres in the Seoul area, which is Annam-dong, and that was donated very kindly by Kim Seong-soo, who eventually was vice president of Korea in the 1950s. And so here we were relocated to Annam-dong in 1934. Eventually we became a more comprehensive institution and renamed Korea University, graduate school in 1949. We acquired a satellite campus 140 kilometers south of Seoul in 1982 called Sejong Campus, and we celebrated our 100th anniversary in 2005. 2005 was a significant year for us because not only was it our centennial celebration, but the president at the time had launched what we called the Global KU Project, which was our attempt to internationalize the university on many fronts. So today we'll talk about the student mobility portion. Okay, we have approximately 35,000 students. We have 3,000 faculty, and this is my favorite statistic right here, only 483 staff people. How can we do it? At National University of Singapore, I believe you have over 1,000 administrators, is that right? Yeah. So I don't know, it's a miracle. I don't know. and so anyways, graduate schools, college divisions, etc. This is another interesting statistic for KU. 40% of the courses at the undergraduate level, higher in the graduate level, are offered in English. And it's not just in certain programs, it's across the board. For example, business school, 60% of undergraduate courses in English. In the engineering school, 60% of the courses are offered in English. And for example, in business school, every course at one time or other within the year is offered in English. So if an international student comes, they can take the course they want in English. So this is very helpful for us to attract international students. We also belong to the APRU and U21 Association of Universities, and we ranked about 191 in the world rankings. Okay, so statistics for internationalization. Outgoing, as you can see, when we launched our Global KU project, we sent out about 858 students in 2005. Well, it's increased and started to stabilize around 1,100 over the last few years. Incoming exchange students jumped significantly over the time. We're almost at a balance. But again, like other institutions, it depends on which region you're talking about. Some regions we attract more, some we attract less than we send. Degree-seeking students. Now, this is an interesting statistic because we don't really have an active international degree-seeking policy. Some professors and some colleges are very keen to get international students for the graduate programs, but at undergraduate level, we don't really have a lot of interest. And the reason for that is because our undergraduate school students have to do a double major. They have to take courses in English to graduate. They have to also have Chinese language or character competency, and now they're expected to have a European language competency. So the students from abroad that can compete or can handle that load, they tend to want to go to other places like Europe or USA. So our undergraduate international degree-seeking students are not that high. And then we have a short-term 6-week program called our International Summer Campus that's offered in June and July and August. each year, and it offers 110 courses in English. 75% of the faculty are from abroad, from Ivy League institutions, and you can see that the numbers jumped significantly over the last few years. This is an excellent program for us because we factor it into our exchange program, so 3 incoming students would be the equivalent of 1 of our outgoing students. We found with some countries like USA or Canada, the students would be willing to come to Asia for short term, not long term, so we're able to keep the balance that way. Also, it's a great money-making initiative for us because if you factor out the exchange students, we still have a large number that are paying tuition to us. So we raise a few $1 million a year through that, which helps to offset the expense of the whole international operation that we have. So this gives you a visual graph of those statistics. Okay, so let me just catch up with what I'm doing here. So how do we create these international opportunities? Well, we do it the standard way, which is through bilateral agreements and participating in international organizations and also associations like U21 and APRU. They have a number of programs, especially short-term programs for undergraduate and graduate students to do go to international research conferences. Here you can see we have college level and university level agreements, and each of these agreements would reflect some kind of program that we're operating or attempting to operate or promise to operate in the future. And then this is the ICEP Association and the Study Abroad Foundation here. Okay, and how do we send our students abroad? Okay, so we do it through our student exchange program. As many of you know, operating these student exchange programs are kind of labor intensive because with each partner we have about 300 partners for student exchange. We can usually send 3 students, 4 students, 5 students. So it's really piecemeal. So that's quite work intensive for our staff members. We have a visiting program. Now this is very interesting for us because when we first pushed in students going abroad in 2005, we didn't have a lot of exchange programs in place. And exchange is the best model because it's win-win. You know, you send a student, they send a student, you don't lose tuition. But with the visiting programs, because we had such a demand and we really wanted to push the students out, we made some agreements with some top universities around the world. For example, UBC, University of Pennsylvania, King's College London, Griffith University in Australia, and Royal Holloway University of London. So we identified those as key partners, and we sent a lot of fee-paying students. For example, UBC, we sent 100. But then we had the issue of, well, where are they going to stay? So we ended up building dormitories at some of those universities. So we have a dormitory at UBC called the KU UBC House. We have a dormitory at Royal Holloway University of London. And we have a dormitory which just completed at Renmin University in China. So we have these 3 facilities that we can use to send our students out. However, what we found is that program is not sustainable in the long run. The reason for that is because they have to pay 2 tuitions, 1 tuition to us and 1 tuition to the host institution. But we rebate 90% of the tuition that we take as a scholarship. So in effect, it's revenue loss for us. So as we grew the exchange program, we're starting to decrease the number of students that we send through this visiting program. But the flip side is we have these dormitories on the campuses which are with our name on it, but not so many students there now. So it kind of has created a challenge for us. Here we have college level exchange programs. They're very active. Our business school, for example, has about 150 students exchanged with other business schools around the world as well. We have ICEP and Study Abroad Foundation, and these EU ICI, which is a sort of a small consortium of European and Korean institutions that have some student mobility programs. And to add in here, we also have something called the Global Honors College Program, which are Yale and Harvard and Waseda and KU and some other institutions that do some short-term mobility. And then we also have individual admission, so individual visiting students go abroad, and then also through language study programs. Okay, so next slide. So how do we attract international students to Korea University? Well, one way we do it is we have this program called the Global KU Scholarship Program, and this is to attract talented international students from developing countries. So what we did was we targeted some key developing countries like Mongolia and Kazakhstan and India, etc. And we invited their ambassadors to come, and we launched this program, which basically is full subsidy of tuition, living stipend, travel, etc. And but it was connected to the most deserving and the most able students. So we asked those governments to help identify the top high school students in their countries. Also, they have to maintain a certain GPA in order to receive those benefits. Then we have bilateral exchanges and ISEP program. And then we have tailored programs. This includes our summer campus, but we also have some programs where we have key partnerships. For example, we have with Purdue University, they send 2 weeks, 20 students for 2 weeks to KU, and then they each earn 3 credits, and so 3 credits times 20 students is 60, and our students can discharge that through the regular exchange. And then we also do that with some universities in California, because California has a unique situation where they have a system which is difficult for us to make exchange partnerships through. And then we have our Korean language and culture program. So we have some university partners that send large numbers of students to those language programs, and then in exchange, we can send our student to their regular semester-based program. Okay, so this next slide. Now, there was a lot of talk earlier today about integrating the international students with the domestic students, and I think we do a pretty good job of that. And one of the key ways that we do it is we have this International Student Support Center. We just opened it last year. It's called One Stop Student Service Center. And of course, it offers all of the standard counseling and immigration and activities. But one thing that we do, which I think might be a bit unique, is we have this group called the Korea University Buddy Assistance Program, KUBA, and it's very popular. And what it is one-to-one matching of a Korea University domestic student with an international student, and they are able to communicate even before they leave their home. They send email, don't forget to bring this, and I'll meet you at the airport, etc. And it's very successful. To be a Korea University Buddy Assistant is competitive. They have their own interviews. They have a president, and they have their own sort of organizational structure. Our office just oversees it. And it really adds something very special to the international incoming student experience. So we're very proud of that. Also, another thing I just want to add here that helps KU to receive very positive feedback for their international incoming students and integrating them with domestic students is that we offer, again, 40% of the courses in English, and it's not just in one area, like what we would call the international student ghetto of, international studies or something. It's everywhere. So, for example, an international student at KU might be the only one in a class of 40 Korean students. But because our students are expected to take courses in English, I think they have to take about 8 to 10 courses in English in their degree program to graduate. They have to take these courses. So there's so many opportunities then for the international student to be with the domestic student. Okay, so I only have 3 minutes left, so why don't I just quickly tell you what challenges we're facing. We face quite a few challenges. For example, maintaining the, how do I do this? There we go. Maintaining the balance for the student exchange program. That's a significant challenge for us because we have so many students that want to go to North America or to Europe, and how do we attract those students? Well, we quickly have 3 strategies. One is the international summer campus program, 3-to-1 ratio. The other is we offer so many courses in English, which helps because they can come to KU, get transfer credit, and they don't have to speak Korean. And the third thing is we have a Lure scholarship. And that is basically before 2005, we did have scholarships for incoming students. When they came, they applied, we said, oh, here you go, thanks for coming. But what we decided to do is use it as a lure to help during the decision point. So when a student's at their home institution, they say, oh, I can go here to this country, oh, I can go to Korea University, and there's a scholarship if I meet these requirements. It helped to attract the student to us. That's one way we can even the balance. And again, another challenge, attracting international degree-seeking students, as I mentioned, because of the double major, etc. And the revenue rebate of tuition for the VSP programs, again, that's not a sustainable model for us because it's revenue loss. I'll skip this because we don't have much time. Just to mention that one of the challenges is attracting faculty and creating opportunities for dialogue, and it's connected with providing research opportunities for graduate students. And the third here is reforming the institution for internationalization. Now this is very interesting because as the only or the first foreigner in the administration, I can kind of sense the challenges that we have. So I'm being told I have to hurry. Why don't I just leave this part by saying that in our office, when we're managing programs for internationalization, when we have partnerships with abroad, it's very important to have staff that have an awareness, cultural awareness of other cultures, administrative processes. For example, when I deal with Japan, I know it's very much decision-making, takes a long time, whereas in Korea, it's top-down, we can make decisions very quickly. With USA and Canada, sometimes it's very lax, or sometimes it's very legal, depending on the university itself. So it's an awareness of the other partner and their processes, and an understanding of that. And then a bit bridging the gap, the cultural gap, as a prerequisite for planning international programs. That's also very important for us to extend internationalization not only outside of the Office of International Affairs. I know we probably all experienced that anything written in a foreign language comes to us. Well, a truly internationalized university, it would happen all over the university, not just in one area. So that's a challenge that we're trying to deal with. So anyways, thank you very much for listening, and I just want to say again, thank you, and if you come to Korea University, I'd be glad to see you when you're there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drachenberg, for a very informative presentation.